This is Gareth Southgate, and this is the Three Lions podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Three Lions podcast. My name is Russell Osborne and this is an independent England football supporters podcast. It is the time for the last international break for our senior men. We've got Albania at home Friday the 12th and San Marino away on Monday the 15th of November. Now on Thursday the 4th, manager Gareth Southgate announced his latest squad. We'll take a look at that one soon. As we will, we'll check in with our correspondents from both of those opposing nations. Thank you as always for tuning in and the support you give to the podcast. All previous episodes, can be found at threelionspodcast.com or your chosen podcast provider. And there have been a couple of recent ones. There was one where I spoke with Aidan Smith from threelions.net. We took a look at FIFA's prospect or proposal of a World Cup every 2 years. Will it happen? Many of us don't want it to. Will it happen? Highly likely, I'd say so. And there was also the one where I caught up with Rich Laverty for a chat about the Lionesses and the draw for next year's European Championships. The Women's Euros are being held here on home soil. Plenty of games across England next year for the Lionesses, hopefully. Now, on to current matters. England. Going into these last two games, we are currently top of Group I, having played 8 matches. We've won 6, we've drawn 2, and going into these last round of games, we are 3 points ahead of Poland. They're in second place. And just to recap, in case you've forgotten, last month's games, we won 5-0 away in Andorra, and then there was the 1-1 draw at home to Hungary, which you'd be forgiven for forgetting about. You may also remember, though, that Hungary game saw some disturbances in that Hungarian section of supporters. And as a result of that, FIFA have banned Hungarian fans from attending their final away game against Poland on the 15th of November. That's the same evening we play San Marino. And the Hungarian FA have also been fined 75,000 Swiss francs, which is £65,000. Hungary, well, they just seem to be racking up punishment after punishment at the moment. And there was a thing that I read that apparently the disturbances weren't caused just by Hungarian fans. There was also talk that Polish fans might have been in there with the Hungarian fans and doubling up together. I don't know. But they're not allowed to go to Poland for their final away game. So there is the squad announcement. It is a 25-man squad. Wondering if the days of 23 have gone now. Are the sizes of squads getting bigger? 2 games. Do we need a 25-man squad? Don't know. There are no major surprises. There are no new faces, although some have returned, although some have disappeared from the last squad. As always, we'll go through it. We've got 3 goalkeepers, Sam Johnston, Jordan Pickford, Aaron Ramsdale. Defenders, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Ben Chilwell, Connor Cody, Reece James, Harry Maguire, Tyrone Mings, Luke Shaw, John Stones and Kyle Walker. Midfielders, 6 of Jude Bellingham, Jordan Henderson, Mason Mount, Calvin Phillips, Declan Rice, James Ward-Prowse. Calvin Phillips, of course, returns after he pulled out of the last squad, injured. And then up front, Tammy Abraham, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, again, who's back after injury, Bukayo Saka and Raheem Sterling. Clearly there are some players that, who it could be said, aren't in the form of their life. And when asked about it, Gareth Southgate said that it was a fair call, but he wouldn't elaborate on it anymore. I think it would be fair to say those players include both Harrys, Maguire and Kane, Tyrone Mings too. And he was asked about Aaron Ramsdale. Someone said to him, can he become an England first choice keeper? Southgate was quick to say that this was only his 3rd squad, but he has impressed him with the way he plays out with his feet and said there's a fight on. And that does include Sam Johnston too. Of course, both competing for that first spot, currently occupied really by Jordan Pickford. And there were some players that didn't make it back from that last squad. Fikayo Tomori can count himself unfortunate, I think. He only came on with an hour gone against Andorra and didn't play against Hungary. There's no Ollie Watkins this time. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think, is still injured. Mason Greenwood and Emil Smith-Rowe of Arsenal, again, not picked. On Mason, he said that he'd discussed him previously, obviously referring back to the last squad where he said he'd been playing a lot of games and he didn't want to burden them with more games. Ben White, been doing well for Arsenal, yet to add to the 2 caps he earned, both at Middlesbrough before the Euros. And then, of course, there's Jadon Sancho, Jesse Lingard. Gareth Southgate said that they aren't playing enough for their club, of course, Manchester United. Although that said, we have a weekend of Premier League football to get through, so I may have to edit this bit. They may get a return. We shall see. So after the weekend's Premier League action, and that was one that featured the Manchester derby, as expected, we had some changes. This is the edit. On Monday, the 8th, 4 players didn't turn up for the first day of the squad meet-up at St George's Park. They included Marcus Rashford and Luke Shaw from United, Chelsea's Mason Mount and James Ward-Prowse from Southampton. Now, apparently Rashford is still looking to rehabilitate his shoulder. Luke Shaw, following his participation in the Manchester derby, is under concussion protocol. James Ward-Prowse is ill and Mason Mount has been delayed by dental surgery. I've not heard that one before. Although it does mean he may still join the squad. I'm not 100% sure. Now, 4 players out. Took us down to 21 players. Arsenal beat Watford at the weekend with a goal from Emil Smith-Rowe. And after saying that he'd been overlooked, Gareth drafted him in from the under-21s for his first England senior squad experience. So we're actually up to 22 players now. That's more like it. So with those changes made, here are your stats. Manchester City have got 5 players, Arsenal 3, Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2, West Brom, Everton, Wolves, Villa, Dortmund, Leeds, West Ham, Roma, Manchester United and Tottenham all have 1 player in the England squad. It is a squad with an average age of 25. There are 563 caps across it and 81 goals. But I did put this one out on Twitter. I wonder what you think of it. I'm wondering if there is a danger of this England squad just becoming a little stale. And it's no secret that Gareth has stayed loyal to the players that got him to the final of the Euros, and I get that, totally. But by doing that, chances are he's going to stay loyal to that same group of players that will get us to the World Cup next November. Hopefully. That is another year away. Where and when does he start to integrate some new faces? Or to put it politely, when does he start to drop some players? The likes of Kyle Walker, Jordan Henderson, Kieran Trippier, both the other side of 30. Sam Johnston, Conor Cody, Harry Maguire, Tyrone Mings, Harry Kane, they're all 28. I've already mentioned Maguire, Mings and Kane in the same sentence before. Do we get to Qatar and then the changes are made? Or will the changes be down to another manager? Maybe after Qatar? I don't know. Is he making a rod for his own back by being too loyal? And again, as I say, I've no issues with loyalty, but when do we start to make some of the subtle changes? The March friendlies? The Nations League games in June and September? But then you'd expect us to be looking forwards to the World Cup with a settled squad. Sort of a vicious circle I'm seeing this. It's not a anti-Southgate rant by no means. I think I'm just curious as to what his thinking is, maybe 6 to 8 months down the line. But I'm quite sure he's got his own plan, his own thoughts, and we will see, hopefully, some new faces. And I know he has introduced a fair amount of players over his tenure. 5 years now Gareth Southgate has been in charge of England, and he has introduced 46 new faces into the squad over the years. So it's not to say he doesn't bring in new players, but at the moment I'm just thinking they are the same players. Yeah, perhaps I'm just being nosy. Now, England face Albania on Friday, the 12th of November. It is our last home game of this qualifying campaign. Both sides will be hoping to put right previous performances and results. England drawing with Hungary and Albania losing at home to Poland. I'm delighted to be joined once again by Elton Kohila. He's an Albanian living in New York. He's going to give us a little bit more of an insight into the Albanian side. Elton, you all right?
Hey, Russell. It's good to be back on the show.
How's New York at the moment?
New York's, the weather's been pretty nice for this time of the year. We're pretty happy about that. Other than that, same old.
Lovely. I mean, we have to stretch our mind back quite a way for this one, don't we? March, last time we met. It was a 2-0 win for England, and it was behind closed doors, and it was one of the first games to be played in Albania's new ground, wasn't it?
I believe that's the case. I think we opened up the stadium, the new ground, and we played against France, and then the only other game that we played in that stadium before the England game.
Yeah. So it's a Harry Kane goal and Mason Mount in each half. But I seem to remember it wasn't a convincing England performance. Albania had a couple of moments.
We did have a couple of moments. I think we played very well defensive-wise, and then we had a couple of lapses defensively, and England scored. But I think we were holding our own for a little while there. I was pretty happy with that performance overall. I know we were a little bit lacking offensive-wise. I think that may have been the game where this would be like my main talking point of this conversation. Armando Broja, I think, may have had his debut with our national team,
right?
And he's now with Southampton. He's a Chelsea player. He's on loan with Southampton. He's just started actually his very first game in the Premier League this past weekend and scored for Southampton. So we're pretty happy about that. Everyone's like sort of like monitoring his progress. He's our hope for the future.
Right.
This guy. He didn't do very well. He was a little bit nervous during that game. And I feel like our whole offense was a little bit nervous that, playing against England, lots of pressure on them, especially playing at home. So I didn't think we did very well offensive-wise. But defensively, we're pretty strong. Obviously, we had a couple of lapses there. That Harry Kane goal actually is sort of like, pretty much put an end to it. It was a pretty good header, actually.
Yeah.
I do recall. And Mason Mount played very well in that game.
Yeah, one of his good games.
He stood out in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we did speak back then, you were fairly confident about second place in the group being achievable, and I think in my mind I was like, I don't know, but I think you've been okay. You're not in second place at the moment, but I think you've done well to be in and around that second spot and still stand a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it was achievable. I know when we first, when the draw came out at the very beginning, we were pot 4, I believe. So in a lot of fans' minds, we were like going to fight for pretty much third place. And, it was going to come down to what our head-to-head games would end up against Poland and Hungary.
Yeah.
We did very well against Hungary. I think we dominated them in both games. I was kind of surprised because Hungary played very well at the Euros. Yeah. They were in a really tough group with France, Germany, and Portugal, and they held themselves very well. They held up very well. They had they were missing a couple of forwards. I think their main forward was injured for both games that we played against them. But yeah, we did very well against Hungary. So getting like a win at 1-0 for both games helped us a lot. To put us in a position to be like we're doing very well before this Poland game, and then it all sort of like came to an end. It's kind of like a repeat of a scenario that happened in I didn't see those games, but in 1986 World Cup qualifiers, we were in the same group with Poland as well.
Okay.
At the time, we had Belgium, Poland, and Greece. And we were in second place when we were playing Poland at home, and we lost to Poland at home in those qualifiers as well. Had we won that game, we would have been through to the, I believe, playoffs for the 1986 World Cup. So it's pretty much a repeat of that scenario 35 years later. And unfortunately, we couldn't get a result. I mean, the game was. I don't think that Poland deserved a win, but I mean, we made a couple of defensive errors, and that cost us a game.
Yeah, it was a late goal by Poland, and unfortunately, I think probably I only saw the highlights. Probably will only be remembered for the trouble that occurred. Unfortunately, the Albanian fans sort of serenaded the Polish goal scorer with some bottles, and the game was held up for a little while. And I'd never really heard of sort of Albanian issues, trouble-wise, like that before. Is this unusual?
We don't usually. Yeah, we don't know. There's been like not crowd troubles, I would say. I feel like when you think of like crowd trouble, is like fans fighting. Yeah. More like the English, the English style fighting, like the 1970s, 80s. Now these days, Albanians have a tendency to throw stuff at opposing players and like their corners, corner kicks, and especially in this situation, I think things had like sort of bottomed out for a little while. Yeah. I had a friend of mine who was watching the game in the stadium, and he was sitting right next to the Polish fans. And the Polish fans had been throwing stuff at the Albanian fans from the upper stand, the upper deck.
Oh, right.
For pretty much all of the game. And I think it's sort of like it escalated, once they scored a goal and people were very frustrated. They started throwing. Yeah, I was watching the game on TV and I was pretty upset about it. I didn't want the game to end, to be suspended for such a stupid, display by the fans. Hopefully, it was not, but, we still didn't get a result. But you're right. The game will go down, will be remembered for those, the ugly display by the fans. Not happy about that at all.
No,
I feel like pretty much everyone was very upset about it. Like the general feeling overall, like we don't tend to like treat our guests in that manner.
Yeah,
and a lot of people were very upset about it.
That's understandable. So the game against England is going to be the sixth meeting between us both. 5 victories to England. They've all been World Cup qualifiers, stretching back to 89. I mean, from my own perspective, I can't see that changing. I can see an England win again. But how about you?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, after losing this game to Poland at home, is pretty much. I feel like the general feeling is it's pretty negative, I should say, going into this game. No one's expecting to get a result, really, to be honest. We do have a tendency, like the Albanian national team, they do have a tendency to play above their level when they play teams of like the England, caliber. They played with some games against Germany where they barely got beat in a few games. I think in a couple of games we're actually ahead of Germany. We're like going into like the last minutes of the game, and then Germany pulls out, like they always do, a couple of goals in the final dying minutes of the games, and they ended up winning. But we've had our own against some very tough competition. We played France at the Euros, and it was like going into the last minute of the game, we were 0-0. And then they scored a goal. Griezmann scored a header at the Euros, and then we conceded another one in like literally like last second of the game.
Yeah,
I don't think our style is very well suited towards the English style game. I think because of England plays an aerial game. I don't think we will do very well, to be honest. I don't expect us to be blown away, and we'll probably be like a 1-0, 2-0. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah. I'm hopeful after the Hungary game.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that we beat Hungary in both games, and then Hungary is able to get a result at Wembley.
Oh yeah, it's an awful game.
I feel like Hungary is kind of the type of team. They played, I guess, up or down to their opposition level, right? They rise to the occasion when they play these big teams, but then when they play against teams like our caliber, like Albania and Poland, they don't do very well. I was surprised. I felt like we dominated Hungary in both games, both in away, home and away. And I was surprised to be honest, at that after the Euro performance. So hopefully we'll be able to get a result. I mean, we desperately need a win, which I don't think is going to happen.
Yeah,
we may get lucky. I feel like England still has not secured first place, so they're not going to play. Not that the English second string or like B team, England B team would be any less tough for us. But I feel like we might be able to get a result. But I feel like England's going to go for it. They need the win to secure first place, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I think you guys are what, 2 or 3 points ahead of?
I think we're 2 ahead of Poland, I believe.
Yeah, so you definitely need the win, right? Or at least, a tie. I think would be.
Well, we don't want to be going into the last game against San Marino.
Well, that's a given, right?
Well, you'd hope so, but things happen.
No, I don't know. I feel like Andorra is probably like the tougher of the I guess the two minnows in the group. I think Andorra is a tough. I mean, we tied Andorra at home in our last qualifying campaign, so I feel like Andorra of the two is. I don't think San Marino's ever had I don't know if they ever drew anyone.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but I know
Andorra is a bit of a tougher opposition, so I wouldn't worry about that last game. Plus, Poland plays Hungary at home, but you don't want to leave it. You don't want to leave it up to the last game.
No, I mean, but generally, I guess with the performances you've been putting in, the Albanian people, supporters, probably got to be more than happy with it so far, and looking ahead to future qualification campaigns.
I think going into the qualifiers at the beginning of the campaign, I think a lot of people have been very happy with the position that we're in right now. But since we were kind of like in a much better place before the Poland game, I think a lot of people are disappointed right now. If we had tied them, we would still be ahead of them. And I think going into the England game, I think even a tie would have served us well, assuming, the Polish results didn't go their way, right? If Poland, I think because we play Andorra at home in our very last home game.
Yeah.
So in our minds, that's also a win, right? But that history tells us otherwise. I think people overall are happy. I think it's more of a transition period for us. We did very well with under our previous coach, Gianni Di Biasi, in our 2016 Euros. There's been sort of like a transition period where we're kind of like relying more and more on like youth players that are coming up the ranks. Armando Broja is one of them. I feel like he's going to be our main forward for like the next decade or so. This guy is really something else. I mean, he's a true gem. I think his style of play will help us, hopefully qualify for one of the Euro. I'm hoping this whole like World Cup every 2 years does happen, so we have better chances of qualifying in my lifetime.
Well, you're the first person I've heard to say that, but we shall see.
I speak to a lot of my friends. Everyone's against it. Yeah. I feel like me and like a couple of other friends. I'm definitely in the minority, but I only see that as an opportunity for like the smaller teams to qualify. Hopefully, like an expanded field as well, which I think is going to happen at some point. Like I think the 2026 World Cup will have 48 teams.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a different world, right? I feel like we're this whole setup, like the World Cup every 4 years, was set about 100 years ago, right? When travel between countries was, very time consuming. I remember like the very first World Cup was in South America, right?
Yeah, Uruguay.
If I'm not mistaken. So like traveling from Europe to South America took probably like a whole month back in the day. So every 4 years did make sense 100 years ago. But in this day and age, right, with the way like everything has evolved, like the Champions League, it's not what it used to be, right? Only the champions used to qualify 30 something years ago, right? And then it changed, right?
Yeah.
So I think there is, obviously I understand the concern with the fixtures, right? But if they do, like, I don't think England has to qualify for the World Cup, right? Maybe what they do is have top 16 teams do not qualify, and then everyone else fight it out.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot more to be spoken about the World Cup every 2 years. You said about watching the Albania games on the TV over there in New York. This particular game, you're actually going to get the opportunity to see the team and Broja in action. You're coming to Wembley, aren't you?
I am coming to Wembley, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'm hoping things stay as they are right now. I don't want any change of plans. Hopefully. There will be a full capacity, and my understanding is that they will be at full capacity. It's pretty exciting to be at Wembley. The only other game that I watched in England was in Southampton, as I mentioned before, watching England versus Kosovo. So it will be a pretty exciting match for me. I think we played only one other time at Wembley, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the first time we played it was in '89. I don't know where we played the other game. I'm not sure if we played at Wembley or not, but this will probably be the second game. And pretty excited. I think Broja will probably start. There's been a lot of like unhappiness amongst the fan base, the supporters, that he did not start in any of our games. He came on as a sub in the second half in pretty much every game. He scored in two of our wins when we beat Hungary in both games. He scored both at home and away. Our main forward, who plays in Turkey, so-called Tsikaleshi, tested positive for COVID. So a lot of people thought that Broja would start, and he still didn't start, and people were unhappy about it. It was a game where we needed a win. We desperately needed a win, and we're not able to pull it off. So hopefully he gets to start in England. I know he's also he's English born.
Yeah.
So I think he's born in Slough, yeah. So I'm sure he'll be very excited for him as well. I think he played with Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham at Chelsea. They seem to have a good relationship from what I see online on the social media. Tammy Abraham always commenting on his posts. So it'll be pretty exciting for him too, right? I mean, if he gets to start in his first game at Wembley, that must be something truly magic for someone who grew up in England.
Yeah,
and now he's playing for Albania. It'll be hopefully he gets to score, and if we get to pull out a result, it'll be even better.
Well, we shall see. Looking forward to it, and stay in touch, and maybe we can catch up before the game for a pint.
No, absolutely, I'd love to. I'll shoot you a note.
Lovely, Elton. Thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the game, and all the best.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, Russell.
Thank you to Elton there for his time. Now, San Marino. For the fourth time we play them away, and this is the third time we will play them in the Republic of San Marino. And that first time, you know the game, David Galtieri and all that. Well, that was actually played in Bologna in Italy. And like Andorra last month, again, England fans have been allocated tickets. The supporters club, well, they managed to obtain a total of 1,487 tickets. Frustratingly, though, family commitments mean I've been unable to go. But having been back in 2013, Rimini and the centre of San Marino, all great places to go and have a nose around. Although the ground, it is a running track affair. But like many, I'll be watching this one on the telly, and I'm going to have to wait a little longer before I'm able to see the team on foreign shores. I'd like to welcome to the Three Lions podcast San Marino fan Massimo, who's calling us from Italy and San Marino. Hello, Massimo.
Hi, Russell.
How are you? You okay?
Yeah, thanks. I'm okay. I'm fine. And you?
Yeah, I'm good.
We are really, really happy to play again England, because every time England comes to San Marino is a great show, because of the love of the supporters coming to San Marino, of the singing, of the colours. So we are really, really happy to play England again.
The supporters club that you have, I thought we'll have a chat about that, but you might have to pronounce it for me.
Yeah, Brigata Mai Gioia. It means it's Brigade Never a Joy.
Okay.
Because we never celebrate, because we always lose. We are a little bit Goliardic, but we are not something like a stupid group. It's just because of the name, but we really care about our team, our national team. So we will go into the flames for our boys playing. So it's just the name. We like to be Goliardic, to joke about ourselves, but we are a real group.
I see. So when did it come about?
Well, it all started 9 years ago. Actually, I was still following the national team of San Marino by TV, because I take 2 hours of car to come to San Marino, because almost no one of us is from San Marino, so we are Italians.
Okay.
We have somebody from Germany, from abroad, but we all live out of San Marino. I started to follow San Marino by TV in the middle of 90s, and thus I continued until 2012 when I found that some friends of mine followed the national team of San Marino too. So we were watching the matches, and we saw a great silence throughout the stadium during the match. It looked like a theater, a cinema.
Right.
Because no fan groups singing for San Marino, of course, because when San Marino played the big national teams, the opposite fans just doing all the noise, but no groups for San Marino. We decided to create a group, and it all started 9 years ago.
So when you started this group, what was the reaction of the people of San Marino and the San Marino team, the players? What did they say? Do you know?
Well, the rest of the stadium was a little bit shocked, surprised, because until that day, never a group of fans started to support by singing and with banners, with flags, etc. And after 9 years, nothing is changed a lot, because we were a small group, and we are still a small group supporting the national team, and the rest of the stadium is like the theater.
So are people shy to come and be with you?
Yeah, maybe. The football in San Marino is something different, like the rest of the world, because San Marino is it's not the only small nation into the world.
No,
but is settled in the middle of Italy. So the 99% of the people is supporting Italian teams.
Yes,
it's celebrating when the Italian national team wins. So big celebration after Italy won the European Cup. But they care about their national team, but they know that it's just something amateur team. So somebody goes to the stadium to watch the matches, but especially to see the others.
Yes. Okay.
So a theater was later that day, and the theater is still now.
Well, this World Cup qualification games obviously hasn't been a success for San Marino. At the moment, you are bottom of the group. Unfortunately, you're beaten twice by Andorra. Did you think that you would be able to beat Andorra?
We are really playing bad. Of course, we are not a great national team, but I think that right now with the coach have to go away because his contract is going over.
Right.
And he's never been a great coach.
I see.
They choose to try an Italian coach who trained some Serie B and Serie C teams, but he was just used to be sacked after 2 months.
I see.
He thinks to be a great professor, great teacher of football, but he won almost nothing, and he thought to destroy the world by the San Marino national team, but the only thing that has been destroyed is our national team. So I think that maybe 2 or 3 years ago we were able to beat Andorra, but you saw the 2 matches and we just took 5 goals in aggregate, and especially in the match when we played Andorra at home, we never shoot. We never shoot. During the 90 minutes, never. No a ball to the opposite goalkeeper. There are some problems, and I think that the next year with a new coach, and we hope with a coach from San Marino who knows the situation and the place. Yeah, because our players are just workers, are not professionals. If someone can't take a permission from work, can't go to the national team, so we can't be the professional team he wanted to be.
But there was I'm sure, a real highlight recently when Nicola Nani scored your only goal of this campaign. He scored against Poland, didn't he?
Yep.
How was that?
It was a great moment because it wasn't expected at all. Especially me, I was giving the shoulder to the pitch because of I was guiding the supporter. So maybe the 80% of the time when I am on the terraces, I can't watch the match because I am like the director of the orchestra.
I see. So you're the man standing with. Do you have a megaphone?
No, megaphones are not permitted. So I create an analogic vintage megaphone by paper.
Okay, amazing. Well,
so it can go inside the stadium. I called it the Brigatophone.
Okay.
Well, but we suddenly I saw everybody just started to jump and celebrate and sing, and of course I got that we scored. So we just rumbled down the stairs to go on the glass walls to clap the wall and to sing and to celebrate it. It was a great time, and it was the second time I saw in real life a goal for San Marino. The first one was the one with Kazakhstan of 2019, and it was the second goal in 9 years of life of Brigata, and a goal is always a great time for us.
Excellent. Do you remember the goal against England back in, was it 1993?
Yeah, of course, not in real life, because back the day I was 9 years old. But of course, we saw that goal maybe a billion of times. So we also know the scorer, and he told us that for going to that match, he asked a permission to his father because they were working, and just to go into Bologna, play the match. And it was just, I think, the third appearance of Davide, and he scored with no and it wasn't expected at all. he told that, well, I tried to run. Maybe the defender sometimes make some mistake, and it went good.
Yeah, it's a famous goal.
During the match with Scotland, still back in 2019, all the Scots in San Marino, and they were another billion of people. I think that they took Davide and asked for 1 million pictures.
Oh, of course.
He's still their hero, and Davide laughs because I'm just I work on computers, PC, etc., and sometimes a Scot come to my shop just to celebrate me. For no reason at all. And it's fun. It's funny, of course, because I just did score the goal, and after 30 years, I still have somebody coming. Maybe because they were on holiday here in San Marino, Italy, and they coming in my shop and celebrate me, asking for a sign, for a picture, and I was working.
That's the beauty of football, isn't it? It's great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you say there's a lot of Scots came back in 2019. There'll be quite a few England supporters coming this time on the 15th of November. Unfortunately, I can't make it this time around. I went back in 2013. what could you tell England fans who maybe haven't been to San Marino and to Serravalle before? What is there to see and do?
Just to not come if you don't have the ticket, because the ticket office will be closed.
Right.
And but due to the COVID restriction, they are not allowed even to approach the stadium.
Well, we know that England fans have got about 1,000 tickets, so there will be supporters in the stadium.
1,500.
That's right,
and that's a bit, and it's the beauty of this match.
Yeah,
because playing England without English fans would be sad.
Absolutely,
really sad.
Yeah,
and it would be a great thing. Just 1,500 and no more outside.
Right,
but I think that outside there will be anyone. There will be somebody for sure.
Yeah, I think there'll be quite a few England fans standing on the hill. There's the hill behind one goal, isn't there?
It's we call that here the third terrace of the stadium.
Of course.
Not you can't make it the fourth, because on the fourth there's a street and a display, but the third terrace is always crowded by some opposite fans with no tickets at all. But be careful due to the COVID restriction, etc.
So in the town, there's a nice castle to go and look around, I think, isn't there, and some good restaurants.
Yeah, of course. The city, the capital, the city of San Marino is about 10 minutes by car from the stadium. 10 minutes or 15 minutes, because it's on the top. It's on the top of the hill. But it's amazing. It's amazing. You can choose to go there during the day, and of course, every time we played England, and I saw England twice. During the day, the city of San Marino was overcrowded by English fans, and it was a great spot of color on that medieval city. It was great, and of course the city is amazing too. So my advice is to come to San Marino maybe during the morning, and have a trip. Also because the Republic is a little one, so you can see almost everything.
See everything in a morning.
Yeah, of course. Or if you don't want to go to the hill, there's Rimini, the city of Rimini, at 20 minutes by car from the stadium. But of course, we are in San Marino, and my advice is go to visit San Marino.
Absolutely. Well, let's hope that the weather is good. And what do you expect from the game? Obviously, it's highly expected that England will win. But what would be a good result for San Marino?
Would like to see our teams to win, even if we play Brazil, people from Mars or the gods. But I know that winning with England will be very, very, very hard. And we hope, I know we lose, but we hope to play better than Andorra, and maybe not losing to not a heavy defeat, because with the big nations,
of course,
there's always the risk to go over the 10th goal.
Yeah, we don't want that, because no one really wins when there's that many goals.
Maybe we hope to lose 5-0, 6-0.
Yeah.
Even because I think that England wouldn't need to score goals to ensure the qualification.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I understand. Massimo, thank you very much for your time and speaking to us on the Three Lions podcast. Obviously, you've got a page on Facebook with lots of pictures of you guys supporting San Marino. Are you on Twitter or Instagram as well?
No, just on Facebook.
All right. Well, lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you to Massimo there. You can find his group over on Facebook. And thanks also to Elton for the Albanian aspects. And to you, as always, for tuning in. Don't forget the show is on all the usual social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can also find it on YouTube as well, should that be your way of doing things. There are plenty more episodes still to come your way, especially for next year. I am working pretty hard on some World Cup specials. So stay subscribed and you won't miss those. As I say, they are for the new year. Something to look forward to. If you are heading to San Marino with or without a ticket, enjoy it, stay safe, and I'll catch up with you again soon for the review episode, when hopefully it's confirmed we will be in Qatar this time next year. So until then, cheers.